Part 1, General Information and Advertising. So in this unit, we're going to discuss different types of Arizona real estate broker licensees and the types of entities, corporations, LLCs, and partnerships that may act as real estate companies. The steps to set up a brokerage company will be explained. The unit will also cover the qualifications to become a broker, the importance of maintaining a definite place of business, signage for main and branch offices, and requirements for when a broker is temporarily absent from the office. So the unit covers the following topics: broker licensing and qualifications, brokerage places of business, broker's temporary absence. After completing the unit, you're going to be able to list individuals able to be licensed as a real estate broker, list the entities that may be licensed as real estate companies, describe the steps to setting up a brokerage, recite the qualifications to become a broker, describe the requirements for place of business, recall the company license status upon death of LLC members or shareholders, or upon change in members of or shareholders, list the changes, require notification to ADRE, list the main and branch office signage requirements, describe the procedure when a broker is temporarily absent from the office. So ARS Title 32, Chapter 20, Article 2 is about licensing. Talks about police powers, the right to enact laws for the health, safety, and welfare of the public. It gives the state the right to require brokers and salespersons to be licensed. So becoming a broker, the process of building your business involves two fundamental decisions. How will I use my license, and what type of entity will I create? So how are you going to use your license, and what kind of entity are you going to create? LLC, corporation, things like that. So if you're a licensed individual, like a DB, designated broker, a natural person who is licensed as a broker and who is either doing business as a sole proprietor, designated to act for employing entity. Those are the two people when you're licensed individual. A designated broker, a DB, may be a PC or PLLC. PC is a professional corporation or professional limited liability corporation. An associate broker is a broker employed by another broker. So, say you're a realtor and you just want to get your broker's license, you can still work with the same company, but now you're just like an associate broker. You still are on. You don't have your own brokerage, but you're with another brokerage company, unless otherwise specifically provided. An associate broker has the same license privileges as a salesperson. So sometimes people think, oh, if you're a broker, you have more licensing privileges than a regular realtor. Well, that's not true. They have the same powers, they have the same authority, the same privileges. Licensed entities, if for employing a broker, is going to be a person or entity who is licensed or is required to be licensed as a sole proprietorship. A brokerage entity is an entity, maybe a corporation, like a C or S. You can have a C corporation or an S corporation. You can have a limited liability company, or you can have a partnership company. So if you're the employing broker, you're typically opening up a brokerage to manage other realtors. The entity may not be a PC or a PLC. LLC may be member managed or manager managed, right? So you got to pick: are you going to be member managed or manager managed? If it's a member managed, the DB must be a member, right? If you want member managed, the designated broker, that's typically the DB is typically the person that's going to manage all the brokers, all the realtors. So if it's a member managed, the DB must be a member. If it's manager managed, the designated broker need not be a member, right? So there's rules of licensed entities. The brokerage entity shall designate a natural person or one person from a professional corporation or a professional limited liability corporation who is licensed as a broker and is an officer of the corporation, member or manager of the LLC, or partner in a partnership. Brokers may pay a salesperson or associate broker license as a professional corporation or professional limited liability company. Police power. This is the state's authority to require licensing. So, police power. So, becoming a broker, we're going to answer two basic questions. How will I use my license? So, when we say that, are you going to open up your own brokerage and work for yourself and hire other realtors? Or are you going to just be an associate broker and work under your current brokerage and conduct business, but you're an associate broker? What type of entity are you going to have? Are you going to have a PC, PLLC? Are you going to open up a S corporation, C corporation, LLC? Those are the type of entities you can become. Are you going to be a license? So for licensed individuals, there's designated brokers. The designated brokers can fall under two entities or two licensed individuals: sole prop or DB for an entity. So you can have a sole proprietorship. There's only one DB running the whole show, and DB for an entity. You're just a designated broker for an LLC company. So a designated broker may be one person, PC, or PLLC, right? PC is professional corporation, or PLLC is professional limited liability corporation. But for a DB, you can maybe it doesn't have to be. It can be one person. Now, licensed individuals, you can have an associate broker. They're employed by other brokers, right? So, say you're starting out as a realtor and you want to get your broker's license because you want to open up your brokerage one day, but right now you just want to get your broker's license and you still want to work for the same company you're at. That's okay. You can be called an associate. You're just an associate broker. You're still under the same brokerage. You're just employed by another broker. Now, licensed entities, there's sole proprietorship, there's corporation, CRS, there's LLC, there's a partnership. Licensed entities is going to be not a PC or PLLC. An LLC may be member managed. The designated broker must be member. Or there's manager managed. The designated broker need not be a member. License entity rules. The designated broker must be a natural person or one person, professional corporation, or professional limited liability corporation. Officer of a corporation, member or manager of LLC. License entity rules, right? For a DB, designated broker, they may not pay a licensee's corporation or LLC. Or they may pay person license as PC or PLC. All right, so let's go through true false. Through its police power, the state has the right to require persons to be licensed in order to broker real estate. This is true, right? So, through police power, the state has the right to require persons to be licensed in order to broker real estate. The person who is the responsible party in a real estate company is an associate broker. This is false, right? Why is it false? It's the designated broker, right? The DB is always going to be the designated broker is the big boss, right? El jefe. The the designated broker oversees associate brokers, oversees other realtors. That's why they're the designated broker. A designated broker may not be a PC or PLLC. This is false, right? A designated broker um, may be a PC or PLLC. So a designated broker, you could be a professional corporation or you could be a professional limited liability corporation, right? It's not, the keyword here is may not, right? That's false. It is, they may be a PC or PLC. If a real estate company is a manager managed LLC, the designated broker must be a member of the LLC. This is false. If a real estate company is a manager managed LLC, the DB must be a member of the LLC. That's false, right? So if it's a member managed LLC, then the DB has to be a member. But if this is a manager managed, they don't got to be a member. The designated broker of an entity must be a natural person or a one person PC or PLLC. This is true, right? The DB of an entity must be a natural person or one person, right? They may be one person, PC or PLLC. A broker may pay commissions to a salesperson's LLC. This is false, right? A broker may pay commissions to a salesperson LLC. So a broker may not pay commissions to a salesperson's LLC. The reason why you become a broker is to open up a brokerage, an actual company. Salespeople, realtors are not allowed to open up real estate companies, right? They are, so it's kind of weird that you're technically not allowed to open up a real estate company. You can open up a company. Anybody can open up a company, but it cannot be a real estate company. And a broker cannot pay a salesperson um, because they're not a broker, right? A broker may pay an associate broker licensed as a PC. This is true, right? A broker can pay an associate broker licensed as a professional corporation, right? You can pay broker to broker. You can't pay broker. You cannot pay. You can pay your licensee if they're working for you. A broker can pay their licensee, but the licensee cannot have their own company, and you can't pay that company, right? In order to pay in order to pay a company, they have to have a broker, DB. So, what are the steps to set up a brokerage business? So, you got to find a name. So, fill out the entity, employer, broker name reservation request, and submit the completed form. Send it to Arizona Department of Real Estate. You're going to wait for the entity, employer, broker name reservation approval notice from ADRE, approximately 7 business days. After ADRE names approval, register the entity with the Arizona Corporation Commission or Arizona Secretary of State, partnership or trade names only. Apply for an employer identification number, EIN, from the Internal Revenue Service, IRS. Apply for trust accounts with an Arizona banking institution if necessary. Complete the entity, employer, employing broker licensure application. Submit with all required documents as one package. And then you're going to wait for ADRE final approval prior to conducting business under the new entity, approximately 24 to 48 hours processing time. So here's the steps. Find your name. Department of Real Estate. You'll fill out that entity, employer, broker name, reservation request. So not all names are approved, right? If you have like the word team in the real estate name of your business, they do not like that. Steps, Department of Real Estate, you fill out. So then you're going to wait to hear. I think it's like 7 business days. Corporation Commission, the trade name, the corporation, LLC filing. You go to Corporate Commission, azcc.gov, Arizona Corporation Commission. You apply for your EIN from the IRS. So it's literally just like starting a regular business. So here, if you ever started an LLC before, it's the same process. Apply for the EIN from the IRS. You can apply for a trust accounts. If you're going to be doing like landlord and tenant uh, rentals, that's when you must have trust accounts. If you're just doing regular residential transactions, you don't need a trust account. You'll complete entity, employee, and broker application, and then you'll await your final approval. A brokerage company's name must be approved by the ADRE. So the answer is true, right? The brokerage name. So we've had, you know, realtors brokers who try to get their, who operate under a brokerage name. It's not approved. That's not allowed, right? So you have to have it approved by the Arizona Department of Real Estate, ADRE. So, what is the qualifications for a real estate broker? Well, you need 3 years of experience in the last 5 years as a licensee in Arizona or elsewhere. 90-hour broker pre-licensing course within the last 10 years. So that's what you're doing right now. 90-hour broker pre-licensing course within the last 10 years. and you need to pass both a school and a state exam. Brokers and salespersons who have an equivalent license in another state are not required to complete coursework nor take a school final exam. They must be an Arizona resident, pass the state exam, and meet other ADRE requirements. So this is interesting because my past broker left and went to Florida, and I think this, I guess, rule still applied where they didn't have to take the coursework or the school final exam. They just go straight to the state test. They pass it, and they get their broker's license in another state. So if you come from another state, Arizona, same way, you don't have to take the school. You don't got to take the school coursework, the 90 hours. It's kind of a lot of hours. And you don't have to take the school test. You just go straight to the state test, um, and go from there. Now, if you, it's kind of like if you ever want to get your Part 107 drone license, we have that available in our Google Classroom. You take our school test, and then we give you the blessing to go, as long as you get like 90% or above on the final exam, the school final exam, then you can go and take the the state final exam, the state test. A broker must have a definite place of business, right? So if the commissioner, right, who's appointed by the governor, wants to come visit you, you need a definite place of business. You can have your house, right, as your place of business. You must notify the commissioner of any change of business location. So if you change your business, you got to notify ADRE. Failure to notify the commissioner automatically cancels the broker's license. Big deal, right? If you don't notify the commissioner, automatically cancels the broker's license. That's a big deal. You don't want your license canceled because if you have employees under you and they're doing deals, well, they technically have to be with a broker, and if the broker's license is expired or canceled, their deal is in jeopardy. Yeah, so the commissioner automatically cancels the broker's license and severs the license of any licensees employed by the broker. So if your broker somehow messes up and the license is severed from ADRE, well, then the license will be severed from all employees, licensees by that broker. A broker must have a sign at the entrance to the broker's place of business, including branch offices. If the broker changes locations, the sign must be removed immediately, right? So, you're working at some town A, you have an office, and then you move. Well, you got to take the sign with you. A broker may have branch offices which must be managed by a licensed broker or salesperson. A separate branch office license is needed unless the office is solely used as an on site subdivision office. The broker's license must be displayed in the office. Broker qualifications. So you need 3 years experience, right? And you need 90 hours pre-licensing course. That's what we're taking here. And you need to pass the school exam and the state exam. Reciprocity. So what does that mean? That's an equivalent out-of-state license. Arizona resident, you pass an exam, and you need to have other ADRE requirements. Rules for places of business. So it must have a definite place of business. Must have definite, right? So you got to have looks like a brick and mortar place of business. And you must notify a commissioner of any change. Failure to give notice automatically cancels the license. So again, brick and mortar, definite, define, right? Definite place of business. What requirements must be met to be a designated broker of a corporation? The DB must be an officer of the corporation. What requirements must be met to be a designated broker of a limited liability company? The DB must be either a member or manager. So, again, what requirements must be met to be a DB? The DB must be an officer of the corporation. So we're not talking about associate broker. We're talking about a designated broker. So if you want to hire a designated broker, they have to be an officer of the corporation. What requirements must be met to be a designated broker of an LLC? Well, the DB must be either a member or manager of the LLC. So designated broker. Well, again, what requirements must be met to be a DB of an LLC? Must be either a member or manager of the LLC. So if you have a corporation, they need to be an officer. If you have an LLC, they need to be a member or manager. So may an associate broker or salesperson be licensed as a PC or PLLC? Yes. Right. May a designated broker be a corporation? May a DB be a corporation? No. May a DB be an LLC? No. May a DB be a PLC? Yes, one person. May be a PC? Yes, one person. So again, the understanding here is if you have a designated broker, they're the top, right? Designated brokers on top. They're going to manage associate brokers and salespersons. So that designated broker, can they be a corporation or LLC? No, but they can be a professional limited liability corporation, or they can be a professional corporation and act as a one person. What is the employing brokerage license status upon the death of any member, manager, or shareholder, or change of members, managers, or shareholders? So the license terminates, but the remaining shareholders or members may continue business and have 90 days to obtain a new license. Who accepts service of process for a non-resident license? The Arizona Real Estate Commissioner, right? So who accepts service of process for non-resident license? The commissioner, right? May a non-resident broker maintain records outside of Arizona? No. Records must be kept in Arizona. May a licensee advertise using a derivative, like a nickname, of the licensee's legal name? Yes, if that name appears on the license. So there's the caveat, right? If that name appears on the license. So may a licensee advertise using a derivative of the licensee's legal name? Yes, if the name appears on the license. So example, can you do, if your name is Bob Realty Company, but you want to do it as Smith, but instead of Bob, you could do it, but it has to appear on the license. That's your DBA, right? Doing business as. Notification to ADRE and within what time period? So you got 10 days. Once you move, you got 10 days to notify ADRE. Otherwise, your license is what? Canceled. Once it's canceled, all your licensees and all your other realtors under you are also canceled. They're severed from you, and you're severed from the ADRE. So no business can be conducted. So no commission can be paid, right? So it's a big, big deal to make sure you get that notification into. ADRE. Any change in the officers, directors, members, managers, or partners, or any change of control of the entity. Oh, excuse me. Notify ADRE within 10 days, right? So you got 10 days to notify ADRE if you move, if your brokerage moves. Any amendment to its articles of incorporation or organization or to its partnership agreement, you got 10 days, right? So say you change amendment to your articles of incorporation, or if you change an officer, right? Or if you change the partnership agreement, you got 10 days to send a notification to ADRE. If a corporation, when a person becomes an owner of 10% or more of the stock. So again, you got 10 days. Otherwise, your license can be canceled. The dissolution of the corporation, LLC, or partnership. So, say you close the business, you still got 10 days to notify ADRE, right? Say you don't want to be part of the company anymore. If you're the owner of the company and you just you want to dissolve the corporation, well, you guys still got to notify ADRE within 10 days. Anything dealing with real estate needs to be ADRE needs to know and be on the up and up on what's going on, and the commissioner will investigate further, right, through its PAMI powers. The place of business: may a brokerage have only a PO box or website as a place of business? What do you think? No, right? It's very common to ask, hey, I want my brokerage, but I'm online. Can I do an online? Um, place of business? And that is no, right? What about a PO box? Can I have just a PO box? No, you need a physical place of business, brick and mortar, so that the commissioner can come there and audit you and ask for your records if they need be. It's very different than just a regular LLC. In a regular LLC, that's not a real estate business, you don't need this. You don't need to have a brick and mortar, right? You can have a website as a place of business, but once you're doing real estate, you're a broker, you have a brokerage. You need you cannot have a website or a PO box. Must have sign at entrance, right? So you have to have a sign at an entrance. So it should say, you know, what the company is called, the name of your company, very prominent. Branch office may be managed by a broker or a salesperson, right? That's your branch office. A separate branch license is needed. So again, branch office may be managed by a broker or a salesperson, but a separate branch license is needed. What are the signage requirements for a main office? Right, so the sign must include the company name and the designated broker's name with wording indicating it is a real estate company. So you need company's name, broker's name, right? So say you're working for Big Door Realty, should say Big Door Realty, and then have the broker's name. It must be clearly visible at the entrance to the office. So here's a note: see SPS 2005.15 for exemption for a sign at a home office. What happens if a broker changes or abandons the business location without notifying the commissioner? Ooh, well, the license is automatically canceled, and all your licensees under you are canceled. So no business may take place and no commission may be paid out by your title company. Notification must be given to ADRE within 10 days. So it's is it calendar days or business days? It just says 10 days. What are the signage requirements for a branch office? So the signage requirements. The sign must contain the same information as a main office sign plus the wording branch office. So you literally need the words branch office um, for a branch office, right? Meaning it's not the main office; it's a branch of the main office. Who may manage a branch office? You can actually have a realtor, right? Just a regular salesperson manage it, or you can have an associate broker manage a branch office. Is there an exemption for a sign at a home office? Yes. When the broker maintains a home office in the broker's primary residence, so maintains a home office. So this is key here. Again, is there an exemption for a sign at a home office? So yes, when when the broker maintains a home office in the broker's primary residence, that's kind of the main thing here. When you handles fewer than 3 transactions per year, 2 or less, and when you have has no real estate related employees, licensed or unlicensed. So if you're just starting out in the game, you just got your broker's license. Um, do you need? Is there an exemption for a sign at a home office? So it's when you're using your home as your office and the broker's primary. That's your broker's primary residence. You don't need a sign, right? So you get your broker's license. You're doing less than 3 transactions per year, and you have no real estate related employees, and they're not licensed, or they could be licensed, but you have no real estate related employees. You don't need to sign. So what happens if your broker is unable to act? Well, you have 24 hours plus. You can appoint a licensee or other broker, and you got 30 days or less. So, broker temporary absence. So, what constitutes a broker's temporary absence? So, this situation dependent, but if the designated broker is not available to perform any required functions within a 24-hour period, this statute applies. So, say your broker goes on vacation, well, you need to designate another broker in their absence to perform those duties. So, what are the required procedures when the designated broker is temporarily absent? Well, the broker must appoint a licensee within the company or another designated broker from another company to act on the broker's behalf. This is done simply by placing a letter of authorization in the company files. ADRE does not need to be notified. So, ADRE, every time your DB goes on vacation or has an emergency or something like that, and they need to act, well, just put a letter in your company's files. You do not need to contact ADRE, and that person can act on behalf the of the broker. It's pretty common. So at Big Door Realty, they have Richard, who's the owner, and he acts on behalf of the broker many, many, many times. Um, so when the broker can't be reached, Richard will act on behalf of the broker because he's a realtor and he's also the owner. What's the maximum time period that a broker may be temporarily absent? So the broker can only be absent for 30 days for each temporary absence. So, January, they can be absent for 30 days. And then, say, in March, it can be absent another 30 days. Each temporary absent, you can do be 30 days. An authorization may not be issued on a continuing basis. If the designated broker will be absent for more than 30 days, a new DB must be appointed. So longer than 30 days, you need a new DB. What are the limitations when a salesperson is appointed during a designated broker's temporary absence? Well, a salesperson may not hire nor sever licensees. So, you need to put some. So the DB can hire and fire, right? The DB is the main boss. They appoint, um, the licensees, their licensees. They can hire and fire. A salesperson, the only thing they cannot do, they can act on behalf, answer emails, sign paperwork, but they can't hire and fire. If a broker who has no licensees appoints another designated broker to act when temporarily absent, what is the appointed broker's position in relation to the client? So the appointed broker is what we call a sub agent, and the client's permission should be obtained. So anything you do, you always want to get the client's permission. Send them a text, email, get it in writing, just to have the client acknowledge whatever is being acted upon. All right, so true or false? Brokerage companies must have a physical location for their place of business. Answer is true. So even the exception was for the sign, right? Say you're working at your home residence, that's a physical location. That's okay. You can do that. Do you have to have a sign at your front door? It depends. Do you do more than 3 transactions per year? You need a sign. Do you have a lot of employees, right? Then you need a sign. But if you have handle less than 3 transactions per year, you have no licensed or unlicensed employees, you don't need a sign. Um, but you need a physical location. Can it be a website? Can your brokerage be, www.bigdoorrealty.com? No. If a brokerage firm changes its business location, the real estate department must be notified within how many days? Within 10 days of the change. This one is true. So you got 10 days to notify ADRE if you change business, even if you amend different articles of incorporation or if you change officers. All those things done in Arizona Corporation Commission, you need to notify ADRE, and you have 10 days to do that. Otherwise, what happens? Your license is canceled, and all your sub agents are canceled, and their commissions won't get paid out because the broker's license is canceled, right? And you can't do business unless you're under a broker. When a member of a real estate brokerage license as an LLC dies, when a member of a real estate brokerage licensed as an LLC dies, the company's license terminates, but the company has 90 days within which to obtain a new license. This is true. So, say your broker dies, just the company's license terminates. But all your licensees under you still can operate within 90 days, and they got to get a new license, they got to get a new DB, but you're still okay with your commissions. Just because your broker died, your DB died, doesn't mean, oh, now everything's canceled. No, it just means you got 90 days, 3 months approximately, to find another licensee, another designated broker, and get set up. The designated broker of a corporation may be an LLC. This is false. So the designated broker, right, DB of a corporation, it has to be a what? A PLLC, professional limited liability corporation. So just because you're a designated broker, can you open up an LLC? No, you have to open up a PLLC, professional limited liability corporation. The DB of a corporation must be a shareholder of the corporation. This is false, right? The designated broker of a corporation must be a shareholder of the corporation? No, it doesn't have to be a shareholder. The designated broker of an LLC may be a member or a manager. This is true, right? So the DB of an LLC, designated broker of an LLC, may be a member or a manager. Yeah. A branch office may be managed by either a broker or a salesperson, right? The branch office may be managed by either a broker or a salesperson. This is true. So the branch office, right? Say it's not the main office, but say you have a branch office, you can have your broker manage that, or you can have a realtor or a regular salesperson manage that. The real estate advisory board chairperson accepts service of process for a non-resident licensee. This is false. Right? Real estate advisory board chairperson accepts service of process for a non-resident licensee. So here they have to be a resident. A non-resident broker must maintain records in Arizona. This is true, right? So if you have a broker in Florida, but they're doing business in Arizona, can they have their records in Florida? No, they have to have the records in Arizona. A salesperson or broker licensee may use a nickname in advertising. This is true, but what's the caveat? The caveat is has to be on their license, right? That nickname. When a person becomes the owner of 10% or more of a corporation, of a corporate real estate company, the ADRE must be notified. This is true, right? So again, any changes in the amendments or an officer or 10% or more of a corporate real estate company, ADRE must be notified. How many days? 10 days. You have to notify them 10 days. What happens if you don't do it? The broker's license is canceled. The licensees under the broker is canceled, and the commissions are jeopardized. Right? They won't get paid by the title company because you have to be licensed to get paid. The designated broker's license must be displayed in the broker's office. Answer is true, right? The DB's license must be displayed in the broker's office. Broker's temporary absence. If a designated broker is unable to act within 24 hours, the broker may designate a licensee employed by the broker or another designated broker to act on the broker's behalf. The designation may not exceed 30 days and is required for each temporary absence. Brokerage companies must have a sign at the entrance to the office that identifies the company and the designated broker. This is true, right? Brokerage company must have a sign at the entrance of the office and it identifies the company and the DB. So the company's name needs to be prominently displayed and the broker's name needs to be said. So it says Big Door Realty, and then it needs to have like say Richard of, that's the designated broker, for example. If a brokerage company changes locations without notifying the ADRE, the license is automatically canceled. This is true. So if a brokerage company changes locations without notifying the ADRE, it's automatically canceled. It's not expired. You don't do your 24 hours continuing education or your 30 hours continuing education. That becomes expired. You have some time to get it back up. No, it becomes automatically canceled. If a broker is unable to act for more than 24 hours, the broker must appoint another licensee to oversee the company and serve the company's clients. This is true. A branch office must be managed by an associate broker. This is false. Right? A branch office may be managed by an associate broker or a salesperson. It doesn't have to be a broker. So that's one big, um, misconception that a branch office has to be run by a broker. No, it could be run by a salesperson. If a broker has a home office, a sign is required if the broker has three or more transactions per year. This is true. So if a broker has a home office, a sign is required if the broker has three or more transactions per year. So say you have a side door, you put your you can put your sign right with the name, Big Door Realty, and your name as the associate broker on your door, um, indicating your home office. The authorization to act for another broker who is unable to act for more than 24 hours may not exceed 30 days in duration. This is true. So, you got a broker, you can't act for more than 24 hours. So that can only go on for 30 days. Other than that, then you need to pick someone else. You have someone else. A designated broker of another company who accepts the appointment to act in a broker's temporary absence becomes a sub-agent of the absent broker's client. So this is true. So, when you pick someone to act if you're temporarily absent and you have clients, now that like sub is a sub agent of your clients. If a salesperson is appointed to act during a designated broker's temporary absence, the salesperson may not hire licensees. This is true, right? If a salesperson is appointed to act during a designated broker's temporary absence, the salesperson may not hire. So salespeople, their limitation, they can't hire or fire. DB, they can hire or fire. Associated broker cannot hire or fire, only the designated broker. Definitions of real estate language and concepts represent a critical element of the licensing exam. So, real estate broker, what do? They perform real estate services for others. Real estate salesperson, they must work for a licensed broker. Brokers temporary absent, brokers unable to act for more than 24 hours. Home office, no sign may be required, right? Maybe. So, broker's temporary absence, when a broker is unable to act for more than 24 hours. Police powers, the right of the government to pass legislation protecting the safety, health, and welfare of the public. Real estate broker is a person licensed under the laws of the state to transact real estate business on behalf of another, acting as a agent. In Arizona, a broker must have 3 years of experience and can be a designated broker or an associate broker. So some of the unit summary is police powers give the state authority to license brokers and salespersons. Individuals may be licensed as associate brokers or designated brokers. Associate brokers and designated brokers may have their license issued to a professional limited liability company or professional corporation. A designated broker may be a one-person PLC or PC. Associate brokers and designated brokers may not be licensed as a limited liability company or corporation. Entities may be licensed as limited liability companies, corporations, or partnerships. Entities may not may not be licensed as PLCs or PCs. So again, entities may be licensed as LLCs, corporation, or partnerships. Entities may not be licensed as PLCs or PCs. The ADRE must approve the name of any real estate company. Real estate brokerage companies must have a definite place of business and must have a sign at the entrance to the business. The brokerage license must be displayed in the office. When a broker is temporarily absent from the office, either a licensee in the company or another designated broker must be appointed to act on the absent broker's behalf. The authorization may not be for more than 30 days. If a non-resident licensee is sued for misrepresentation, service of process is accepted by who? It is Bravo, the real estate commissioner. So the commissioner is going to be the one with the PAMI, right? Rules, power rules, promulgate, audit, manage, investigate. So that is the commissioner is the person to serve service of process. So is it the real estate advisory board? No. The real estate advisory board is appointed by the commissioner. Um, by the governor. The governor is going to appoint real estate board and the commissioner. Is it going to be the designated broker of the non-resident brokers LLC? No. Arizona Attorney General? No. Which of the following changes in status of a real estate brokerage must be reported to the Arizona Real Estate Commissioner? This one's Charlie. Any change in the officers, directors, members, managers, or partners, or any change of control of the entity. So that's going to trigger notice to ADRE within 10 days. So any amendment to its policy procedures manual? No, that's an internal document. That doesn't, you don't need to go to an Arizona Corporation Commission to update that. If a corporation, when a person becomes an owner of 5% or more of the stock, no, it needs to be 10% or more of the stock. Any change to the company's independent contractor agreement? No. Who has the final say as to whether a specific name is appropriate for the real estate brokerage in Arizona? It is Alpha, the real estate commissioner. So, who has the final say to whether a specific name is appropriate for the real estate brokerage? The commissioner, right? That commissioner has quite a lot of power, right? The PAMI, right? Promulgate, audit, manage, investigate. They manage realtors, investigate. They manage brokers, investigate realtors. So, real estate commissioner, right? Attorney General, no. Arizona Legislature, no. Arizona Supreme Court, no. The right to license real estate agents comes from the answer is Bravo. The right to license real estate agents comes from the state legislature, right? Does it come from the commissioner? No. Municipalities? No. County government? No. Upon the death of a shareholder of a real estate brokerage that is a corporation, the what? Answer is Alpha. The company's license is terminated, but the remaining shareholders may continue business and have 90 days to obtain a new license. So, again, upon the death of a shareholder of a real estate brokerage, that is a corporation, the company's license is terminated because the shareholder, the real estate brokerage died. Um, so is it Bravo? Company may continue in business indefinitely, but must appoint a new designated broker? No. Com- the if the broker, if the person dies, the shareholder dies, the license of the company is terminated, but you got 90 days to appoint um, someone else. Designated broker must take over the shareholder's interest? No. Deceased shareholder shares are redistributed among the remaining shareholders? No. All right. So the company's license terminated, but the remaining shareholders may continue business and have 90 days to obtain a new license. By what power does the state have the right to license brokers and salespeople? This is D Delta police powers. So the state have the right to license brokers and salespeople by the police powers. Is it by enabling powers? No. FTC? No. 1968 Federal Consumer Protection Law? No. Which of the following statements relating to a broker's temporary absence and appointment of a licensee during the absence is correct? Alpha, the appointment of a salesperson in the company may not be for longer than 30 days, right? So your broker or the designated broker goes on vacation. Um, they have up to 30 days for the sub. They can pick a realtor, salesperson, or another DB from another company, but it cannot be longer than 30 days. Right? Longer than 30 days, you got to pick someone else. So B says the appointment of another designated broker may be for more than 30 days. No. A notice of the appointment of another licensee must be sent to ADRE. No. They don't need ADRE doesn't even know about if you're going on vacation and you're appointing someone else. The company's designated broker may not be absent for more than 24 hours. No. A salesperson who is appointed to act when a designated broker is temporarily absent may not. It is alpha hire or sever licensees. So instead of saying hire or fire, they say hire or sever licensees. Sever, you're severing the license, you're firing the person essentially. Um, so a salesperson who is appointed to act when a designated broker is temporarily absent may not, the sub cannot hire or sever. Deposit rent in the company trust account, they can do that. Review initial contracts, they can do that. Enter into any new property management agreements, they can do that. A designated broker for a corporation must be a Charlie officer of the corporation. So a designated broker, right, a DB for a corporation, they must be an officer of the corporation. A designated broker, right, for a corporation must be an officer of the corporation. Can they be a shareholder? No. Member of the LLC, if the LLC is a managed? No. One person, PLC? No. Which of the following is not a requirement when opening a real estate brokerage in Arizona? It is Charlie. The broker must purchase errors and emissions insurance. That's not a requirement when opening a real estate brokerage in Arizona. It's a good idea though. So A, the brokerage must have physical address. Yes. The brokerage must have a designated broker. Yes. The brokerage must get authorization from the ADRE for the brokerage name? Yes. The brokerage must purchase their innovation insurance? No. An Arizona broker may not pay a Alpha Arizona Associate Brokers LLC. So an Arizona broker may not pay a Associate Brokers LLC. May not pay a salesperson licensed as a PC. No. Out of state broker. No. Associate broker licensed as a PLLC. No. A designated broker of a corporation or LLC may not be a Bravo, right? LLC. A designated broker, DB of a corporation or an LLC may not be a LLC. May Can they be a natural person? Yes. Can they be a PC? Yes. A PLLC? Yes. So a designated broker, again, designated broker of a corporation or LLC may not be a LLC. So when you have a designated broker of a corporation or an LLC, they need to be a PC or PLLC. To hold a real estate license in Arizona, an individual must fulfill all of the following requirements except Alpha have a high school diploma. So to hold a real estate license in Arizona, an individual must fulfill all the following requirements except have a high school diploma. They don't. So do you need a high school diploma? No. Do you have to be of legal age? Yeah. Do you have to be of good moral character? Yeah. Do you have to fulfill an education requirement? Yeah. Do you have to have a high school diploma? No. Right. So fulfill an education requirement basically mean take the 90-hour pre-licensing course, take the school exam, and then you take the state exam. Which of the following statements is correct? Okay. This is Charlie. A brokerage entity may be a sole proprietorship, a corporation, or an LLC. So, a brokerage entity may be a sole proprietorship, a corporation, or an LLC. So, a designated broker for a corporation must be a one person PC? No. A designated broker for an LLC must be a one person PLLC? No. A brokerage entity may be a PLLC? No. A real estate brokerage entity may be all of the following except what? It is Delta PLLC. So a real estate brokerage entity may be all of the following except a PLLC. So we're not talking about the designated broker anymore. We're talking about, so we know the DB has to be a PLLC or PC, but we're talking about the real estate brokerage entity, right? The real estate brokerage entity um, may be all the following. So may the brokerage entity be a sole proprietorship? Yes. Corporation? Yes. LLC? Yes. PLLC? No. P, when you put the P on it, that means professional, and that is for a designated broker. A DB can be a PLLC or a PC. A real estate brokerage can be an LLC or corporation, but the actual brokerage entity cannot be a PLLC or a PC, right? Because the brokerage itself is not a professional. It's not a person professional. Um, a subdivider employed people to show homes, explain the features of the homes, and quote prices and terms. Which of the following statements is correct? Answer is Charlie. These people must be licensed. So a subdivider employed people to show homes, right? That subdivider is having realtors show the homes, and they have to be licensed. Um, they explain the features of the homes, and they quote the prices and terms. The key thing here is the terms, right? Um, if you're a realtor and you have unlicensed people working for you, they can do certain things. One of the key things they cannot do is explain any terms of the contract. Anything with the contract can't explain any of it. Only the broker need be licensed. No, um, they are employees only, and in this case, need not be licensed. No, as long as they do not accept deposits and do not write contracts, they need not be licensed. No, no, because they're explaining right here. It says explain terms. A broker or salesperson may have his or her license issued to a answer is C, Charlie, professional limited liability company. Again, we're talking about a broker or salesperson or a person or a designated broker. So, one of the key things here is when you're talking about a DB, they need to be a PLLC, professional limited liability company. When you're talking about like the brokerage itself, that doesn't have to be a PLC because it's a brokerage entity, right? But you're talking about a designated broker, they need to be a professional. So a broker or salesperson may have her or his license issued to a corporation? No. Limited liability company? No. Limited partnership? No. Professional limited liability company? Yes. When starting a real estate brokerage in Arizona, what should happen first? The answer is Alpha. You need to get permission from the Arizona Department of Real Estate regarding the use of the brokerage name. So some names are not allowed, like say if you have team in your name, but you need to get the Arizona Department of Real Estate to approve the name first. That'd be the first thing. So B says file the name with the Arizona Secretary of State. No. Register with the Arizona Corporation Commission. No. Become a member of the local Chamber of Commerce. No. So you need to get permission from the Arizona Department of Real Estate, ADRE, regarding use of the brokerage name. A broker is not required to have a sign at the entrance to the office if the broker Charlie works at home and closes fewer than 3 transactions per year. So if you work from home and you close less than 3 transactions per year, do you need a sign? No. If you work at home and close 3 or fewer transactions per year, so A and C, so A says works at home and closes 3 or fewer transactions per year, and C says works at home and closes fewer than 3 transactions per year. So once you hit that magical number 3, then you need the sign, right? So sometimes it's just better to put the sign because you may close 3. Once you hit 3, then you need a sign. What about 4? Yeah, you definitely need a sign now. So works at home and closes 3 or fewer transactions per year? No. So leases office space and closes fewer than 3 transactions per year. No. Um, Works at home and has. Oh, sorry. Yes. So leases space closes fewer. Works at home and has no more than one per other person and one employee. So that's yes. So you would need a sign. This is a broker's not required to have a sign at the entrance to the office if the broker works at home and closes fewer than 3 transactions per year. A non-resident broker may retain company records in Arizona. So say you're in Arizona, but you're working with a broker in Florida. Can the Florida broker have the records in Florida? No. If the Florida broker is working with the Arizona broker, the records need to be kept in Arizona. So in any state, no. At the broker's residence, no, unless it's in Arizona. In the broker's state of residence, unless it's in Arizona. All right, so we're going to go over Unit 3, licensing and regulation.